What's a small thing that instantly ruins your mood? Story 1. Noise when I'm sleeping. Oh, I turn so aggressive, BC. Am never loud and always considerate of others. I will fight someone at 6 a.m. BC. Why are you so fucking loud, like as if I won't make it 1000x worse when you're sleeping? I make threats, but feel bad later, so never pull through them, but still, I would. Story 2. Expectations to socialize at work. If you don't talk, you're singled out as odd one out and weak team player in management eyes. It's such BS. Since when did coming in, doing the work, and being respectful, approachable not enough? Story 3. Getting interrupted when telling a story or talking about my day, especially when you get to the part the whole story led up to and your person tells the kids to put their shoes away over your talking. Then the "I'm sorry you were saying?" I get if it's important, like if the kid is heading into the road or something similar, but light housekeeping could wait 30 seconds more, right? Story 4. I truly try not to allow myself to be bothered by other people who are not in my circle or about things that don't matter, but there are two people who I never want to see walk through the door. However, with that in mind, even if I feel in the foulest mood, I aim not to take it with me to work. I don't ever want to be the person whose presence sours every situation. Story 5. Hearing people talk corporate speak in public. Keep that crap in your office. The only people who are impressed with your jargon obsession are no one. Bonus tip: your coworkers also think you are a self-absorbed jerk. Story 6. People being passive-aggressive or short with me just immediately tanks my mood. Makes me wonder if I did something wrong, which tends to spiral into anxiety and make me wonder why I went outside that day and then question why I care about humanity so much. People in shoot moods make me feel like I did something wrong, and it sucks because I have a hard time letting it go. Tend to take everything to heart, and no matter how much I try to train myself to let it go, it never works that well. Story 7. When I help someone who missed something, or I'm just trying to help them fix it, and they say, "Oh, I'm sorry," instead of just, "Hey man, thank you." I don't know why, but I wish people didn't feel bad when I helped them, you know? Story 8. Minor inconveniences. Like right now, I want to post on Reddit, but my arm can no longer hold my phone. My bladder is like, "It's me." And I don't want to go to the bathroom right now. Stubbing your toe. Stepping on something hard. Getting a sliver. When you accidentally break something you care about. People chewing with their mouth open. People talking with food in their mouth. People scraping their teeth on utensils. Tryptophobia pics. Story 9. It takes a lot to ruin my mood, but my phone changed time zones on me overnight, and I was an hour late to work on a busy Monday. That pissed me off so bad, and I felt the effects of it for the entire day, LMAO. Story 10. People looking at their phones in the middle of a conversation. People looking at their phones during important moments. People watching the concert through their phones. Phones are incredible, but we rely too heavily on them and have made them so toxic for us. Story 11. When I'm talking about story or opinion that need to be more concentrated detail in conversation, then some stupid just to talk about other stuff or his story out loud instead of letting me finish my words. Yeah, that pissed me off. Story 12. I use a wheelchair, and whenever friends tell me that they don't care about the issues I face with accessibility or react negatively to me sharing my work, I help building designers and managers make their facilities more accessible. It really deflates my mood. Story 13. Literally. The moment that word shows up, I go from enjoying a conversation to feeling like I'm talking to an idiot. Its ubiquitously erroneous use has meant the word has lost all meaning and impact it ever had. Story 14. People are actively ignoring me, not by subconsciously tuning me out, but to the extent that they must be aware of my repeated calls for their attention. If they can't hear me, at least have the courtesy to tell me to stop talking to them and not just responding to someone whispering. Story 15. When someone proves how little they understood what I tried to teach them. I'm the electronics guy of my company. More than just computers and smartphones, if electricity runs through it, I'm the expert. Story 16. I told my husband he has to stop texting. Hey, can you call me when I'm working? BC, my mind starts whirring the whole time until I can step away, so now hell, tell me that is no rush, or give a quick summary of what's up. Story 17. In high school, the dean of students called me and my roommate, boarding school, to his office, but refused to tell us why. He literally fetched us from class and refused to answer any of our questions. We thought we were thoroughly fudge, and that he had found some sort of contraband in our room. Turns out that one of old teachers had just died and he wanted to tell us in private, but holy whiplash. Story 18. Yes! I had an argument with my mom recently because I said it's such a cliche of a thing to say that will make someone anxious that I think it's a power play. They know they're leaving you to sweat and stress, and it's almost always nothing. My mom said no. How else can someone say they need to talk about something? And I said, you just say, can we catch up? Nothing to worry about, just needed an update on X? Story 19. Alternatively, someone riding my blind spot for long distances. I speed up, they speed up. I slow down, they slow down. I don't know if it's some psychological phenomenon that makes them do that or malice. Either way, I can't get the fudge away from them. It's both baffling and infuriating. I've had the same thing happen when trying to merge onto the highway from the on-ramp. Someone's riding the right lane, so I slow down to let them pass so I can get on. They slow down too for no apparent reason. Okay, fine. So I speed up to get ahead of them. They speed up too and continue blocking my merge. I've nearly been forced off the road by lunatics behaving like this. I really don't care whether someone drives above, at, or below the speed limit, unless they're in the passing lane. I only care that they drive predictably. Unpredictable drivers are the source of so much unnecessary danger on the roads, and it's not always people behaving like assholes either. Sometimes it's people trying to be polite that become unpredictable and dangerous. Story 20. Bonus points if they pull out so wide you think they're going for the second lane, where there are also no cars, then end up swerving back and camping in front of you anyway. Like, dude, if you can't pick a time, at least pick a lane so I know which one to pass you in. Story 21. I drove 40 minutes once to go to a park at a lake. We brought our senile dog and our daughter. We get out of the car, walk 20 feet to find a spot to set up a blanket, and suddenly I realize one of my socks is wet. I look down and my dog has apparently decided to mark his territory. We got straight back in the car and went home. Completely ruined everyone's day. Story 22. Yes, I used to carry flip-flops in my car for rainy days going into my workplace. Shoes and socks go off and into a bag, roll up pants legs, and flip-flop into the building. Put my shoes and socks back on in my office. And to think unbelievers mocked me. Pfft, their loss. Story 23. Far, like if you knew you were going to cancel anyway, at least have the decency to let me know before I've mentally committed, showered, picked an outfit, and started hyping myself up like I don't secretly dread leaving the house. Not when I'm sitting there fully dressed, staring at the wall like I just got ghosted by life. Story 24. We have a stoplight where the left protected turn signal literally lasts 15 seconds. If you are aware and go when it turns green, 3 cars can go through. So I am always yelling, "Go!" Too many times only 1 car gets through or 2. Story 25. I got stuck at a green light the other day because the person in front of me wanted to turn left. They were not in the turn lane, so they just sat their entitled jerk there, blocking traffic. No amount of honking could get them to move, and I couldn't get out from behind them due to traffic in the right lane. The most infuriating part? They didn't get pulled over by the cop who was in the actual turn lane, whom they almost hit when the arrow turned green again. Story 26. Closely related, the people in moving traffic who come to a full stop to let people at stop signs out. They think they are being kind and letting this person pull out, but all they are doing is ruining the traffic flow and holding everyone else behind them up. In most cases, if they had just kept driving on, the 2-3 cars behind them would have passed anyway. And that person can pull out into traffic just as quickly as if someone had stopped traffic to let them in. Story 27. This is definitely aggravating, but when I'm waiting for a car to pass so I can turn onto a cross street and they turn onto the road I'm on with no signal, it drives me batshit. You see me waiting for you to pass and you know you're going to turn. You can't move your finger a couple inches to turn your signal on, so I'm not waiting here for no reason? Story 28. I'll raise you what happened to me Monday. Hurry to leave the house. Closed the bedroom door sort of over my little toe so that the door half smooshed, half rolled my toenail. Hurt like bejesus, but I was rushing, and since I was rushing to a swim lesson, when we got the kids in the pool, I looked down at my flip-flops feet and realized I was leaving a little bit of a blood trail. It's pretty gnarly. Feels fine today, though. Just tender. It really didn't ruin my mood, though. I was too rushed. Story 29. I feel bad because my hearing isn't the best, and in noisy environments, it's hard for me to make out what people are saying, so I often have to have them repeat themselves. Believe me, it sucks asking people to repeat themselves. Many times I just pretend I heard what they said. Story 30. The person that sits next to my work cube is eating chips right now. I also have misophonia, so it makes me want to rip my hair out. I have to use noise-canceling headphones, and even then I can still hear his open mouth crunching away at the chips. I can't even explain how stupid angry it makes me. Story 31. Movie theaters are hell. Everyone is open-mouthed, chewing and crinkling bags. Earplugs help a lot. I also remind myself it's my anxiety and not them. Reminding myself that they aren't trying to be as irritating as humanly possible helps. I was at a theater, and a girl was wearing an arm full of bracelets and kept rubbing them together through the whole movie. I almost lost my shoot, but kept thinking that she was either anxious or neurodivergent. I remember the story of the guy who was mad at a couple for checking their phone throughout a movie, and he asked them to stop, and they wouldn't. Eventually, he shot and eliminated them. They were checking on their kids. Yes, it's annoying and makes me want to scream, but I never know if the other person is neurodivergent or has something going on too. I have yelled at teens before who were loudly laughing and joking through the entire movie Killers of the Flower Moon during the most serious parts. It was disrespectful and came off as racist, since the movie is about Native genocide. They thought the Native passing parts were super funny. That was the only time I yelled at someone in a theater. I think they were high, but that isn't an excuse to be disruptive and disrespectful of a serious topic. Story 32. Me takes a flight to a foreign country, drives down a secluded road until the car runs out of gas, rows a boat across a lake, hikes up a giant mountain, settles into a tiny, almost impossible-to-see cave, whips out a book and pops on a pair of headphones. Finally, some alone time. Some fudge 3 seconds later. Hey, how's it going? Story 33. Always reply no. They'll go, "What? Why?" Say, "You don't get to make me anxious for the next 7 hours." They apologize and tell you what it's about. Generally, it's low EQ people that say, "Can we talk later?" with no context. You have to lead them. Story 34. I had a sudden hearing loss in one of my ears a couple years back from a virus. If I ask a certain person to repeat themselves, they give me a dismissive hand gesture and say, "Never mind." That is, until I finally ask them to stop doing that I really wanted to understand what they were saying and that what they did hurt my feelings. Story 35. Similar when people, especially my partner who I trust and depend on for support with things, I simply can't do as easily, voice their complaints or irritation at the needs caused by my disability. Caretaker fatigue is real, but please vent to someone who isn't the only relying on you. I already feel bad enough. Story 36. You sound like you've never needed to talk, so we need to talk. You. Yes, we do. So you're ready to take responsibility for being a neglectful father and demoralizing your SO, who's just trying to keep it together for all of us? Story 37. Oh God, anytime my mom needs to talk to us, she starts it with, "Good, everyone's here. Come downstairs, we all need to talk." About anything. And she won't even tell us why if I ask what it's about. She waits until the family is sitting in a group. It's so uncomfortable. I've started refusing to listen unless she tells me why, and have told her multiple times to stop doing this. It's so stressful. Story 38. Same. The relief I feel when someone says, "I am so sorry, something came up. Oh no, I hope everything is okay, I'll catch you next time." Then I hope like hell they don't try to schedule that next time. Being neurospicy is fun. Ha ha, ah ha ha. Story 39. A few years ago, earlier teens, I was told by a middle-aged man to start smiling more because he thought it was pretty, and little girls should wear dresses like they used to. Safe to say my older brother helped that man out of the store. Story 40. Can't stand it when I'm asking someone a question that I plan on setting up with an either or answer, and once I start saying the first option, they interrupt me and answer before I finish my sentence. Story 41. I had a blowout in the grocery store with my wife. She's walking ahead of me while I'm pushing the cart. She kept talking to me while facing away. I kept having to say, "Pardon, I can't hear you." Then she got really mad at me for not hearing her, when she barked at me for not listening. I was in the middle of getting a bag of frozen vegetables. I stood up, threw the bag back in the freezer, and yelled at her saying, "I can't fudge hear you if you're talking away from me." Then I just left the store. Story 42. I sometimes wish I was deaf because of my misophonia. I feel like it would make life easier and less stressful. At least being hard of hearing with hearing aids I could turn down or off would be a godsend at times. Story 43. This person might have misophonia. I have it, and there is no way to explain how uncontrollably angry it can make you. It's like nails on a chalkboard, x100. I know it's dumb, but I seriously cannot control how disgusting it makes me feel to hear others chew. Sometimes even my chewing will bother me. Story 44. Wow. I'm really sorry that happened. That must felt so frustrating and hurtful, especially when you're just trying to understand and be part of the conversation. I'm really glad you stood up for yourself and told them how it made you feel. You didn't deserve to be dismissed like that. You deserve patience and respect always. Story 45. Oh, you would dislike to be around me, LOL. Growing up, my father told me and my siblings we couldn't talk while at the dinner table, so we became fast eaters. I can eat a main course in 5 minutes and still have room for my husband's leftovers and appetizers too. Never really full unless in bursting at the seams. Story 46. I typically do drop those relationships and just have cats. And my dog. Ha ha ha. I do live 3 houses down from my best friend, but she spends months at a time in other countries, so it works great. Ha ha ha.